I sat down with Dr. Gaidi Faraj, the Dean of Students at African Leadership University, to have his take on the topic of influence. Here is what he had to say. One of the biggest leadership themes we teach about is influence. And the reason why that is really key is because we define leadership as influence, not position, not title, not anything but influence. As in, the higher your influence, then the higher your leadership abilities. What are your thoughts on that definition?
No, I agree with that wholeheartedly. And it's actually something that we talk to our students at African Leadership University about on a regular basis. A lot of our students are very aspirational. We promote entrepreneurial thinking, so a lot of them want to start companies, start ventures, or they want to go out and work in the corporate world. And we tell them that if they're going to be successful entrepreneurs, successful business people, they're also going to be influential in other spheres. The reality is, across the African continent right now, if you go someplace that has a relatively weak economy and you are tight in the ministry, if you have a big business, you're going to influence tax policy, you're going to influence governance, so you're going to have influence far beyond your individual company. And we want the students to recognize that now so they can begin to understand what the responsibility of that entails.
Oh, interesting. So who has been the biggest influencer in your life, personally and professionally?
It's a good question. I'm an old man, so I've had a number of influencers in my life. One of my early mentors was actually in prison for much of my early life, and then when he got out, we became very close. But it also showed me that anybody can be an influencer, anybody can be a leader, regardless of what their position or station is in life. And he was someone who gave me a lot of good advice, who really pushed me. He was someone who did a lot of self-study, so he pushed me to be very passionate about my own self-study and self-development. Later in life, I was mentored by a number of people who were very successful in business, and so they had a lot of influence on me and taught me a lot about, from their own mistakes, shared a lot of their experiences, and helped me grow in a professional way. And then I was raised by a single mother, so she's always been very influential to me because I can admit now I was a little hard-headed when I was young, and I have a twin brother, so there were two of me. And so she did a very good job of corralling us and keeping us in check while she also had to go back to school herself and eventually start her own business. And so she was definitely someone who was influential in my life.
Wow. So from what you said, like two of the people you just mentioned actually do not have the typical titles. We believe that, this one is a leader because of a certain title.
Right.
Yes. So how about African Leadership University? How is it influencing the region, the Africa in the realm of leadership?
Right. So we talk all the time about what we are doing in actuality and what our aspirations are. And the reality is we're still very young, and we've only graduated one class of undergraduates from our Mauritius campus. We haven't graduated anybody in Rwanda yet. And so our influence in reality is still pretty limited. But once we start sending students out there as graduates, once they start starting their own companies and employing other people, and we have alumni, then we'll really start to see the influence that we have. Right now, a lot of our influence just comes from our marketing and people's perception of us. And then all of our students have to do internships, so they are getting some work experience. They're spreading out around the continent, working for short periods of time, and we've gotten really good feedback on that. But we know that our influence is very nascent right now, still very young. But we expect it to really scale up and grow over the next couple of years as we start to graduate students.
Thank you, Dr. Faraj and African Leadership University, for giving us your time and sharing your wisdom on leadership. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having us.